Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. In today's video, we're going to talk about a penny that's often overlooked but could be worth much more than its face value via the 1964D Lincoln penny. Most pennies are worth just 1 cent, but this one, it might be worth hundreds or even thousands. Stick around, because I'm going to show you why you should keep your eyes peeled for this coin in your collection or pocket change. Scene transitions to you holding up a 1964D penny and showcasing it on camera. Rarest coins. Alright, so let's start with the basics. The 1964D Lincoln penny is a copper coin minted in Denver, as indicated by the AD mint mark on the reverse side. It's part of the Lincoln cent series, which was first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln. The 1964D penny was minted in massive numbers. Over 4 billion of them were produced, making it one of the most common pennies ever made. So why are we talking about it today? Cut to a wide shot of you looking excited while showing the coin. Well, despite being produced in such large quantities, this particular penny has some rare characteristics that could make it incredibly valuable. We're going to explore those characteristics in detail, so you can identify a valuable 1964D penny if you ever come across one. Scene transitions to a shot of multiple 1964D pennies laid out side by side. Rarest coins. Now, let's talk about the difference between the common 1964D penny and the ones that are worth big money. As we said earlier, over 4 billion 1964D pennies were produced, so most of them are still out there circulating. The vast majority are worth just 1 cent after all. It's just a standard penny. But here's where it gets interesting. Cut to a shot of you carefully examining a 1964D penny with the magnifying glass. There's a specific rare variety of the 1964D penny that has made collectors take notice. This is the 1964DDR, double die reverse, variety, and it's one of the most sought-after errors among Lincoln cents. So, how do you know if your 1964D penny is one of these rare error coins? Let's break it down. Scene transitions to a close-up shot of a 1964D penny showing the reverse side with noticeable doubling in the lettering. Rarest 6. The 1964DDR, double die reverse penny is a rare coin that occurs when the reverse side of the coin or the side featuring the Lincoln Memorial was struck more than once. This results in a doubling of the lettering, and sometimes even parts of the Lincoln Memorial itself. Zoom in on the letters of AE pluribus unum and other parts of the reverse with visible doubling. If you look closely at the reverse of the 1964D penny, especially at the words AE pluribus unum and A United States of America, you may notice that the letters appear to be doubled. This doubling isn't a printing issue. This is an actual error that occurred during the minting process, and it makes the coin much more valuable. Cut to a graphic showing examples of double letters on the reverse of the 1964D penny. So why does this matter? Well, the 1964DDR penny is rare. There are only a few known examples, and they become a prized possession for collectors. Some of these double die reverse pennies have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction, depending on their condition. Scene transitions to you using a magnifying glass to closely examine a 1964D penny on a white background. Now, let's talk about how you can actually identify a 1964DDR penny. First, you'll want to look at the reverse side of the coin, particularly at the words AE pluribus unum and A United States of America. These are the areas where you will see doubling if you have a DDR variety. Zoom in on a 1964D penny with clear examples of doubling on the reverse. Check for signs of doubling in the letters. The most common signs are extra thickness or shadowing around the edges of the letters. If you see clear doubling especially on the letters AE, AL, and AR and AE pluribus unum, you may have found a rare double die reverse. Show a magnified shot of the double AE and other. Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. In today's video, we're diving deep into a penny that you might have lying around in your spare change, the 1982 Lincoln penny. While most pennies from the 1980s are only worth a cent, this one could actually be worth much more, depending on the type and condition of the coin. So, if you've got a 1982 penny, you'll want to stick around and find out if you've got a hidden gem. Rarest coin scene transitions to you holding up a 1982 Lincoln penny and showcasing it on camera. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1982 Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, as indicated by the AD mint mark on the reverse. It's part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, which has been in circulation since 1909. In 1982, there was a major change in the composition of the penny, switching from 95% copper to 97.5% zinc, with a thin copper coating. So, there's a lot going on with this particular year and mint mark. Cut to a zoom in of the penny's reverse with a focus on the AD mint mark. Most 1982 pennies are worth only 1 cent. But here's where things get interesting. The 1982 penny comes in several varieties, and some of them are extremely rare and valuable. We're going to break down what makes these coins so special and why they could be worth a lot more than just a penny. Scene transitions to a side-by-side comparison of a 1982 copper penny and a zinc penny. Rarest coins. Before we get into the rare finds, let's first talk about the two different types of 1982 Lincoln pennies. This is key to understanding what you're looking for. In 1982, the U.S. Mint switched the composition of the penny from 95% copper to 97.5% zinc. However, not all the pennies from 1982 were made with this new composition. Some were still made with the old copper formula. Cut to a shot showing the copper penny on the left and the zinc penny on the right. Here's how to tell the difference. Copper pennies, which were made early in 1982, are much heavier and have a reddish hue. On the other hand, the zinc pennies, which were produced later in the year, are lighter and have a more dull, silvery appearance. Cut to a close-up of both pennies being weighed on a small scale. Copper pennies weigh about 3.11 grams, while the zinc pennies weigh only about 2.5 grams. If you have a 1982 penny, one of the first things you'll want to do is check its weight to figure out which type it is. But it's not just the composition that matters. What's really important is whether your 1982 penny is one of the rarer varieties. Scene transitions to you closely examining a 1982 penny with a magnifying glass. Now, let's get into the real treasure of the 1982 Lincoln penny. While copper pennies are no longer in production, the 1982 copper penny is extremely rare, and finding one could mean you've just stumbled upon a small fortune. Cut to a close-up of a 1982 copper penny, with the focus on the date and mint mark. While most 1982 pennies are made of zinc, a small percentage of them are actually minted with the old copper composition. This error occurred because some copper plancates, blanks or discs used to make coins were accidentally mixed in with the zinc plancase during the minting process. Show a comparison of a copper penny and a zinc penny. The key here is that these copper 1982 pennies are incredibly rare, with estimates suggesting that only a handful of them are actually produced. The rarest of the rare are those that are in good condition and have been properly preserved. Cut to a graphic showing the potential value of a rare 1982 copper penny. Rarest coins. So, how much is a 1982 copper penny worth? Well, the value depends on its condition, but a 1982 copper penny in good condition could be worth anywhere from $100 to $500, depending on the market demand. A coin in excellent condition or professionally graded might sell for over $1,000 or more. Scene transitions to a zoom in of you carefully inspecting a 1982 penny with a magnifying glass. Now that you know these copper 1982 pennies are, welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into a coin that you might find tucked away in your pocket change, the 1976 Lincoln penny. At first glance, this might seem like just another penny from the 1970s, But trust me, there are certain 1976 Lincoln pennies that are worth far more than you might expect. Whether it's in the condition of the coin, a rare mint error, or a specific variety, the 1976 penny could end up being a lot more valuable than just 1 cent. Stick around as we break down everything you need to know about this potentially valuable coin, and how you can tell if you've got one that could be worth a lot of money. Section 1. The basics of the 1976 Lincoln penny. Before we get into the exciting stuff, let's cover the basics. The 1976 Lincoln penny was minted as part of the bicentennial celebrations marking 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. As with most Lincoln pennies, the 1976 design features Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, back. Rarest coins, however, unlike the other coins of this era, the 1976 Lincoln penny has a special significance due to the bicentennial, which is why collectors sometimes pay extra attention to these. The coin was minted in the usual locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark, although the San Francisco Mint primarily produced proofs. Now, at face value, most 1976 pennies are just worth, well, 1 cent. But not all of them. Some of these coins have unique characteristics or mint errors that can make them much more valuable. So, let's talk about how you can find out if you have a rare, valuable 1976 penny hiding in your collection. Section 2. Key factors affecting the value of a 1976 Lincoln penny. When determining the value of any coin, including the 1976 Lincoln penny, there are a few key factors to consider. 1. Condition. A coin in better condition will naturally be worth more than a heavily worn one. 2. Rarity. Coins that are rare or hard to find are more valuable to collectors. 3. Mint errors. This is where it gets really interesting. Some 1976 pennies have rare mint errors that can significantly increase their value. $1 million rarest coins. Now, let's explore how these factors come into play with the 1976 Lincoln penny. Section 3. Condition of the 1976 Lincoln penny. First up, condition is critical when determining the value of a coin. Coins are graded on a scale that ranges from good, G, to mint state, MS-70. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. For example, if you have a 1976 Lincoln penny that's been in circulation for years and shows heavy signs of wear, like scratches, discoloration, or fading, it will only be worth a small premium, probably just a couple of cents above face value. But if your penny is in excellent condition, with no visible signs of wear and clear details, it could fetch a significantly higher price. Uncirculated or high-grade examples of the 1976 penny, especially those that haven't been circulated much, can be worth anywhere from $5 to $10 in grades like MS-65 or higher. A coin in MS-67 or MS-68 could potentially be worth even more, especially if it has a unique characteristic. Section 4. Mint errors on the 1976 Lincoln penny. Now, let's talk about the most exciting part to mint errors. Mint errors occur when something goes wrong during the minting process, and that's where the real money can be found. The 1976 Lincoln penny isn't known for a huge number of errors, but there are still a few notable ones to keep an eye out for. 1. Double die errors. 1976 double die obverse. One of the most valuable mint errors you can find on a 1976 Lincoln penny is a double die error. This happens when the coin is struck more than once, causing the design to appear doubled. The most common place for this error to show up is in the date, A 1976, or the inscription like A Liberty or A In God We Trust. The 1976 double die obverse penny is highly sought after by collectors, and it can be worth a lot of money if you find one in great condition. Depending on the severity of the doubling and the coin's overall grade, a double die 1976 Lincoln penny can be worth anywhere from $50 to $500 or even more in some cases. Coins with strong, clear doubling are especially valuable. 2. 1976 Dino mint mark, overpunched mint mark. Another error that collectors are looking for is the 1976 D overpunched mint mark, also known as the no mint mark variety. This happens when a coin is struck with an incorrect mint mark, or in the. Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. In today's video, we're diving deep into a seemingly ordinary penny from 1973 at the Lincoln penny. But the broken bar before you dismiss it as just another coin. Let me tell you that there are certain 1973 Lincoln pennies that could be worth far more than their face value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just getting into the hobby, you're going to want to stick around for this one. We'll go over why the 1973 Lincoln penny is so special, what to look for, and how you might be sitting on a small fortune without even realizing it. Section 1. Understanding the basics of the 1973 Lincoln penny. Alright. Before we dive into the specifics of the 1973 Lincoln penny, let's go over some basics. The 1973 Lincoln penny was minted in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D mint mark, and San Francisco, S mint mark, just like many of the other pennies produced around that time. It features the classic design of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, back, which was used from 1959 until 2008. Now, most of these pennies are composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and ink, which was the standard before the penny's composition changed in 1982. But here's where it gets interesting. While the 1973 penny may look pretty standard, there are certain factors, especially mint errors and high-grade specimens, that can make this coin more valuable than you would think. Section 2. Factors that determine the value of a 1973 Lincoln penny. So, what makes the 1973 Lincoln penny potentially valuable? There are a few key factors that can increase the value of any coin, including this one. 1. Condition. The better the condition of the penny, the higher the value. 2. Rarity. How many of these pennies were produced, and how many are still around? 3. Mint errors. This is where things get really interesting. Sometimes, errors in the minting process can create rare and valuable coins. Let's dive into each of these factors a little deeper to see how they apply to the 1973 Lincoln penny. Section 3. Condition of the 1973 Lincoln penny. First up, let's talk about condition. The condition of a coin is one of the most important factors when determining its value. Just like any coin, a 1973 penny in poor condition won't be worth much more than face value. However, if you have a high-grade penny that looks practically brand new, meaning there are no major signs of wear or damage, then it could be worth much more. Coins are graded on a scale from good, G, to mint state, MS-70. The highest grades are MS-65 or better, and the higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. If you happen to find a 1973 Lincoln penny in uncirculated condition, especially one with little to no wear, it could be worth anywhere from $5 to $10 or more, depending on the coin's overall quality. A MS-65 or MS-66, mint state, 1973 penny can fetch higher prices than coins in No, almost uncirculated, or XF, extremely fine, conditions, where there's noticeable wear on the coin. Section 4. Mint errors on the 1973 Lincoln penny. Now let's get into the real treasury of mint errors. Mint errors are mistakes made during the production process, and these can drastically increase a coin's value. The 1973 Lincoln penny isn't as famous for its errors as some other years, but there are still some important mistakes you'll want to look for. 1. The 1973 Lincoln penny with the double die error. One of the most famous types of mint errors is the double die error. This occurs when the coin's design is struck more than once, resulting in a doubled appearance. For the 1973 Lincoln penny, the most common area for doubling is in the date or the inscription is specifically a Liberty or a In God We Trust. These double die errors are highly sought after by collectors. Rarest coins. If you spot any noticeable doubling, especially in the date, it could mean you have a double die 1973 penny. Depending on the condition and severity of the doubling, these coins can be worth anywhere from $50 to $500 or more, with some examples going for even higher prices at auction. 2. The 1973 Lincoln penny with the repunched mint mark, RPM. Another mint error to watch for is the repunched mint mark, or RPM. This happens when the mint mark, in this case, the AD for Denver, is struck more than once, leaving behind an overlap or a ghost impression. A 1973D Lincoln penny with the repunched mint mark is worth more than a regular penny, but how much it's worth depends on how clear the RPM is and the coin's condition. If you find a 1973D penny with a clearly visible repunched mint mark, it could be. Welcome back to the channel. Rarest coins. Today, we're going to talk about a penny that could be hiding in your pocket, just waiting to make you some serious money. The 1979D Lincoln penny. Now, at first glance, it might seem like any other run-of-the-mill penny, but there are some rare varieties of the 1979D that could be worth way more than you might expect. Stick with me as we explore the hidden value of this coin and how you can tell if you've got one that's worth a small fortune. Let's start with the basics. The 1979D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver. As indicated by the AD mint mark, the penny features the classic design of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. See, pretty standard stuff, right? But what makes the 1979D penny stand out is that there are certain rare versions and mint errors that can make this coin worth way more than its face value of 1 cent. So, what exactly makes these coins so special? Let's find out. Before we dive into the specifics of the 1979D penny, let's take a quick look at how coin values are determined. There are three main factors that influence the worth of any coin. 1. Condition. The better the condition of the coin, the higher its value. 2. Rarity. How many of these coins were produced, and how many are still in circulation today? 3. Mint errors. Sometimes, things go wrong during the minting process, and that's where the real treasure is hidden. Mint errors can make certain coins extremely valuable. Now that you understand the basics, let's dive into how these factors apply to the 1979D Lincoln penny. First, let's talk about condition. As with any coin, the better the condition, the more valuable it is. A heavily worn penny with scratches and damage won't get you much more than its face value. But if you have a 1979D Lincoln penny in uncirculated condition, you could be looking at a much higher price tag. Uncirculated coins have sharp, clear details, no signs of wear, and a nice, fresh finish. Rarest coins. Coins are graded on a scale from good to mint state, MS70. The higher the grade, the higher the coin's value. A 1979D penny in mint state, MS65 or higher, meaning it looks almost brand new, could be worth anywhere from $5 to $15. A coin in MS67 or MS68 could easily fetch more, especially if there is significant demand. So, the first thing you want to do is check your 1979D penny's condition to see if it might be worth more than just 1 cent. Now, let's talk about the real treasury mint errors. This is where the 1979D Lincoln penny really gets interesting. Mint errors occur when something goes wrong during the minting process. These errors are rare, and when collectors find them, they can be worth a lot more than a regular coin. One of the most valuable mint errors you can find on a 1979D Lincoln penny is the double die error. This happens when the die is misaligned and strikes the coin multiple times, causing the design to be doubled. On the 1979D, this error is most noticeable on the date and the inscription "A Liberty" or "A In God We Trust." The doubling may look subtle to the naked eye, but with a magnifying glass or under proper lighting, the double design becomes much more obvious. If you find a 1979D penny with noticeable doubling on the date or the lettering, you may have a double die obverse penny. These are extremely valuable among collectors, depending on the severity of the error and the condition of the coin. A 1979D double die penny could be worth anywhere from $50 to $500 or even more in some cases. Rarest coins. Another mint error to look for is the repunched mint mark, or RPM. This occurs when the mint mark AD for Denver is struck more than once, creating a slight overlap or double impression. On a 1979D penny, a repunched mint mark is a relatively common error. and a well-defined one can be worth up to $10 to $50, depending on the clarity of the repunching and the coin's condition. Another minting error to watch: